Trước khi bắt đầu, nếu bạn đang tìm kiếm sách để học IELTS hiệu quả, thì đây là những cuốn sách chúng mình khuyên dùng. Nó có thể giúp bạn đạt điểm IELTS từ 7.0 tới 8.0. Bạn hãy xem ở phần giỏ hàng trong kênh nhé.
Part 1. You will hear a conversation between a clinic receptionist and a patient who wants a retainer adjustment.
Good morning, Bright Smile Orthodontics. Emma speaking. How can I help?
Hi, I need an appointment to adjust my retainer. It is rubbing my gum.
No problem. Is it a fixed retainer or a removable one?
Removable. It is the clear plastic type.
Thanks. I will take your details first. What is your full name?
Liam Foster. That is Liam Foster.
Thank you. Do you have a patient number? It usually starts with letters.
Yes, it is RS9031. R and S, then 9031.
Great. Can I take a contact phone number?
Yes, it is 0745 5188 203.
Thanks. Now, what is the problem with the retainer?
The edge feels rough and it is rubbing my gum. It is not broken, just sharp.
Okay, that sounds like a simple polish. We can usually do that quickly. When would you like to come in?
This week, if possible.
We have Tuesday at 11:20 or Thursday at 4:10.
Tuesday at 11:20, please.
Fine. The clinic is on Bracken Hill Street next to the library. Bracken Hill is Brackenhill.
Okay.
There is a small fee for the adjustment. It is £15. If we find a crack, we will tell you before doing anything else.
Right.
After the adjustment, rinse your mouth with salt water that evening, just once. Also, avoid very hot drinks for a few hours. If the gum is still sore after 2 days, please call us.
All right.
Also, please bring your retainer case with you if you have one.
No problem. I will.
I also want to check how you clean the retainer. Some people use toothpaste, but it can scratch the plastic. It's better to use mild soap and cool water.
I have been using toothpaste, actually. I will change that.
Good. Finally, would you like reminders by text or email?
Text, please.
Okay, I will send confirmation now. See you Tuesday.
Part 2. You will hear a park ranger giving information about a fitness route and explaining where key locations are on a map.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Willowmere Park. My name is Jordan, and I'm one of the park rangers. Before you begin, I'm going to explain how the fitness route works and give you a few basic safety reminders. I'll also describe where the key points are on the map so you can locate each station without confusion. First, some general information. The route is open all day and it is free to use, so there is no need to book. If you prefer a quieter time, early morning is usually best. Also, if this is your first visit, it helps to follow the route in order. The stations are planned so you start gently, warm up properly, and only then move on to more demanding activities. One important safety note is the footbridge. Please slow down when you cross it, especially when the surface is damp, because it can be slippery. Now I'll guide you around. Start at the main entrance with the car park on your right-hand side. Just beside the entrance there are two useful spots. The warm-up zone is on the right of the entrance, on the side nearest the car park, before you begin the loop. If you need information, the small help kiosk is on the left of the entrance. When you set off, follow the loop clockwise. In other words, turn left from the entrance first and head towards the lake. On that left-hand side, you will see the fountain, and the hydration point is positioned right next to it, so you can refill your water bottle there. As you continue around, look towards the center of the park. You will see the stream and the footbridge. The open grassy area beside the stream, close to the footbridge, is the stretching lawn. It is a good place to slow down and do longer stretches, especially after a run. Keep following the loop up towards the top of the map, near the dog area. There's a rest stop with a bench there, which is a good place to pause if you want to catch your breath. After that, continue around to the right-hand side. The balance steps are the station closest to the community garden, on the far right. Before you reach them, you will pass the sprint section. This is on the inside curve just to the right of the footbridge. It is a longer, smoother part of the path, so it is suitable for a short, fast run. Finally, keep going down towards the car park again. The pull-up bars are in the lower right section of the loop, close to the corner of the car park. That's everything. Please be considerate of other park users and enjoy the route.
Bạn đang nghe podcast miễn phí tại IELTS. Nếu bạn yêu quý kênh, hãy ủng hộ chúng mình ở phần mô tả nha.
Part 3. You will hear two students discussing missing data in a data cleaning workshop and comparing different techniques.
Hi, Tom. Did you finish the notes from the data cleaning workshop?
Almost. The part about missing values was the most useful for me. Before this, I usually just deleted rows with blanks.
I used to do that too, you know. It feels quick and clean. But the teacher made a strong point. If missing values are not random, deleting rows can change the message in the data.
Yes, he said if the missingness is connected to the value, then dropping rows can create bias. That sounded serious.
Exactly. For example, if high-income people refuse to answer a salary question, then deleting those rows makes the average income look lower than it really is.
Right. So even though deletion is simple, it can distort results.
And even when it is random, you lose information. You worked hard to collect the data, and then you throw away records you could have used.
True. So we both think dropping rows saves time, but it often wastes valuable information.
I still have the handout somewhere, but my folder is such a mess.
Same here. I always tell myself I will organize my notes properly.
In the discussion group, someone predicted that companies will soon create one standard rule for missing data, like always fill with the median or always drop rows, just to be consistent.
I am doubtful about that, actually. One single rule across all projects sounds unrealistic. Different teams work with different kinds of data.
Same here. Another prediction was that automated tools will handle missing data, so people will not need to make decisions.
I do not believe that either. Tools can suggest options, but they can't know the real reason values are missing. Humans still need to think and check context.
The lecturer spoke so fast at the start, I nearly missed the first example. Let us review the techniques. First, mean or median imputation.
That one is very common. It's fast and easy, but it can cause a problem.
You mean it can make the data look less spread out?
Exactly. If you fill many blanks with the same middle value, you reduce the variability. I might try it for a quick check, but not as a final solution.
Next, list-wise deletion, dropping rows.
It's easy, but it can be dangerous when missingness depends on the value itself.
Another technique was adding a missing indicator feature, like a new column called is missing.
I liked that idea. Sometimes the fact that something is missing tells you something.
Like if a customer leaves the phone number box blank, maybe they don't want contact.
Yes, and that missing flag can help because missingness itself carries information.
Then there was linear interpolation.
That's mainly for time series data. It works best when gaps are short.
We also heard about a method that uses similar cases.
Yes, it looks for the most similar rows in the dataset and uses their values to fill the gap.
It sounded accurate, but heavy to compute.
That's the issue. It can perform well but become slow on large datasets.
By the way, are you joining the library study group later?
Finally, there was repeated imputation.
Right. Instead of filling one value once, you fill the gaps several times, then combine the results.
The teacher said it's good because it reflects uncertainty instead of pretending we know the missing values exactly. Yes, it's more honest about what we don't know.
Part 4. You will hear a lecturer explaining how a heatwave early response system works and outlining the main problems and solutions.
Good morning. In today's lecture, I'm going to talk about heatwave early response. This is a system, or set of actions, used to reduce harm when a period of extreme heat is forecast. Many people think a heat wave is simply hot weather, but for public health, it is a serious risk. A heat wave can lead to dehydration, heat exhaustion, and in some cases, death. It also places pressure on ambulances, emergency departments, and social services. So the goal of an early response system is to act before the situation becomes critical, not after. A heat wave early response system usually includes public health messages, practical support, and coordination across agencies. It combines health advice with operational planning. By operational, I mean planning that decides who does what, when they do it, and how resources are moved. For example, it is not enough to tell people to drink water. A city also needs to check whether vulnerable groups can actually get water, whether cooling locations can open, and whether staff are available to call at-risk residents. The whole idea is prevention, so fewer people end up needing urgent medical care. However, building an effective system is not simple. One major problem is that heat waves are becoming more frequent in many regions. What used to be unusual may now happen every summer, sometimes more than once. When events become frequent, budgets and staff time are stretched, and warnings can start to feel routine. A second problem is identifying who is most at risk. Research and experience show that the elderly are often the highest risk group, especially people living alone. Older bodies may not regulate temperature as well, and some medicines affect hydration. Some people also delay asking for help. At the same time, other groups can be vulnerable too, such as outdoor workers, young children, and people with chronic illness, so plans need flexibility. Local authorities also map high-risk addresses and plan short welfare checks. They may work with charities, housing officers, and pharmacies. These partners can spot problems early and help deliver water or advice to people who cannot travel. A third challenge is defining dangerous heat. Temperature alone is not enough. Humidity can make heat feel far worse because sweat evaporates less easily. Two cities might share the same temperature, yet have different risk levels. This is why some warnings use a heat index, but different measures can be harder to explain. This leads to the next problem. It is hard to agree on one national warning threshold. Regions differ in climate and housing. If the threshold is too low, people ignore it. If too high, the warning comes too late. Many countries, therefore, use regional thresholds, but this can reduce consistency. Data sharing is another barrier. Weather services hold forecasts, while hospitals hold real-time health data. If they do not coordinate, decision-makers cannot see the full picture. A forecast may look severe, but hospitals might already be overloaded, or early signs of heat illness may appear before alerts are updated. When data is split between weather offices and hospitals, action slows. Communication with residents is also uneven. Some people see alerts on phones quickly, but others do not. People may miss warnings because they lack internet access or outreach. By outreach, I mean phone calls, community workers, local radio, or door-to-door checks. In some neighborhoods, outreach networks are strong. In others, they're weak. There is also a practical issue with facilities.
Cities often plan to open cooling centers in libraries, schools, or sports halls. But when the warning comes, there may not be enough public cooling centers available quickly due to staffing, transport, or limited opening hours. Now, let us look at solutions. A key step is better coordination and less confusion. One practical measure is to share information through a single public dashboard. This can show forecasts, warning levels, and the opening times of cooling centers, plus clear advice and contact numbers. It gives agencies and the public a shared view of the situation. Another solution is training. Plans fail when roles are unclear or people hesitate. Training and clear roles can improve staff compliance during emergencies. Here, compliance means following the plan as designed rather than improvising under pressure. When staff know the procedures and trust the system, the response is faster and more consistent. To conclude, Heatwave early response is not just about forecasting. It's about coordination, support for vulnerable residents, and clear early action. As heat waves become more frequent, these systems will become even more important.
Bạn đang nghe podcast miễn phí tại IELTS. Nếu bạn yêu quý kênh, hãy ủng hộ chúng mình ở phần mô tả nha.